McCoy Creek Woods, beloved by the locals of Buchanan, Michigan, which was once the industrial powerhouse for a prototypical Chicago. In the 1830s, a lot of millers who started squatting here and building their mills along the various creeks that fed into the St. Joseph River over yonder, were taking very productive advantage of the power of water here. Unfortunately, their meddling has permanently and drastically altered water flows and landscapes alike in this area. Yeah, that picture right there, this picture is the same view as from where we were standing of that same building. So back in the 1830s, that little town over there, Buchanan, was one of the powerhouses for Chicagoland. Chicago could not have been built as quickly and as grandly as it was if it weren't for all the mills that were along this here creek. And here is the remnants of one of those mills. There were many, many different mills at different times, about 13 of them. These mills, you can see what I mean when I say disrupting the water flow, the water regime. They built massive industrial parks around the creek here that have choked off genetic flow of species between each other, and has allowed the concentrated propagation of countless invasive species that are suffocating the land and leaching it of the many nutrients that it can create and all the water processing it does. If we had intact wetlands here, a milling operation would be much less impacting towards the environment, because there would be something to clean the pollutants out of the water if there were wetlands and swales. That would mean building 1 or 2 mills, not 13. So you can see where the problem is. The problem of conservation versus preservation. But nonetheless, we have to thank Mr. McCoy, despite everything else, despite his predecessors having violently removed the natives from this land. He, at least, was one of the few settlers that had placed some merit in the natural resources here, besides for his own needs. So at the very least, we can thank him for that, because otherwise we wouldn't have this opportunity at all. While he didn't want this land to degrade, he actually did care about it. He did not understand how to take care of it. He didn't understand how deep the impact his milling operations would have, regardless of how hard he tried. He didn't understand that the only way to save this land was to not industrialize it, to not cultivate it. Sometimes you need natural areas that we can't use, and because there are no natural disturbances to take care of the trees here, there is an imbalance in the maturity of trees. A lot of our more important fruit-bearing trees, the oaks and stuff, and the hickories, are failing. They don't have very many young trees to replace them. That's a problem all over the Midwest and the East Coast. Whereas you see the beech trees here, which are very mesophytic, very shade-tolerant, are taking over, turning this into a beech maple forest. It already was a little bit, but now it's going to be almost exclusively. The biodiversity is suffering on account of the mitigation of natural disturbances, as well as the severe alteration of the water regime. And that is McCoy Creek right there, the wide one. We still have some good fortunes, though. While sedimentation is severe in the creek, and while it is cut off, something just jumped in the water down there, and while it is cut off from its mouth, the water still flows through a series of culverts, but the ecosystem functions cannot pass through those culverts. We have severe sedimentation. We have a lot of pollution in the water here, leached from all the agriculture and industry. However, we still get steelhead and salmon running these streams. We still have a complex series of wetlands down there. There's still things worth saving, and there's still reasons to restore this land to something, just something functional. What I was trying to get at there is how development along streams, rivers, or creeks tends to accelerate water flow. See how the creek around the mill, and you'll notice this in other shots throughout the video at other parts of the creek, is built up with stones and contained. Due to the dynamic nature of water and sediment, the two need a lot of space to maintain the structure of the surrounding environment. Having a large, uncontained area around water bodies ensures that the water body has a healthy exchange of sediments and runoff all around. If sediment-rich water enters a paved stream, there is nowhere for the sediment to deposit. And atop this, the stream moves faster through pavement or rock. When it reaches an undeveloped bank again, it's moving too fast for the bank to remain stable, thus erosion happens. And with erosion, you'll eventually get sedimentation and flooding in places that you don't want it. You can see examples of this in almost every creek and river in Chicagoland and really all around the world. And did I mention, the pavement that's even near a water body can upset its natural function. Runoff and rainwater take much longer to pass through soil than to pass over pavement. Pollutants, then, are washed directly into the stream with no filtration like almost any Facebook group. And rainwater doesn't take its time percolating into the soil. It just rushes straight into the stream and overwhelms it. Not only is it important to keep the stream itself healthy, but the headwaters. The headwaters, that is where the creek comes from. Now, we got to be real careful walking around here. We got more of that skunk, and it loves it over here. It sure loves it. We're going to stay on the deer trails so that we don't kill it.